Today on Crazy Carl Projects, we are going to talk about the Android box that was installed into my 2016 Lexus ES350. Now, I got this off of AliExpress. The link should be in the description from where I got it if it's still available. This has got about roughly 15 to 18 months ago. And Crazy Kit installed it for us. The link for that video should be like right up here. The installation, well, if you're fairly good with installing home stereo, or car stereos rather, not home stereos, car stereos, it should go relatively easy. But if you're not quite as good with car stereos and things, you may find the installation a little more difficult. Now, I got it muted right now because, well, all these copywritten songs will get my channel copyright struck, and I don't want us to be copyright struck. The audio quality itself, it varies from decent to very good. It really depends upon how good your streaming is. Of course, I'm using YouTube and AT&T and all that other jazz. The streaming is usually done over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and I'll try to get to those settings here for a second. Just hold that button down, and there, we swapped over back to the blue section here, which is the normal infotainment system. Of course, putting it in reverse brings up the rear view camera. This has not been affected at all. Putting it back into park, we'll bring that back here and hold that down again. There we go, it's swapped. The way you navigate around the screen, of course, touching it does nothing. Touching it does absolutely nothing because this is not a touch sensitive screen. I didn't replace that. So instead, I actually am using this. Tilt to the left. Now I see it's right there. We turn it, it goes to there. Turn it, it goes to back. We can restart the song if we want to listen to it again. Tilt it to the right. Now the blue square is on that. Push it down. Now we've maximized our map. So it takes a little bit to get used to, especially when you're driving. But I've found that after a little bit of time, I can actually do this without looking down at my hand. Honestly, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for me to figure that part out. The main issue with this, though, is the same issue with a lot of Android Auto stuff. You got to look at the screen sometimes to see what you're touching. Since this blue square is my virtual touch, I got to look at the screen sometimes to see what I'm doing there. And that goes against the idea behind these style of radios, to where you can just do this with your eyes on the road and never looking down. That's the idea behind all of that. Well, a couple of issues has popped up. 80% of the time, it works every time. If you're taking extremely long trips, and I think I've said this before, but I'm not sure if this video got uploaded, I couldn't find it. But if you're taking extremely long trips, about the 8.5 hour mark of being used non-stop, it will die. The box will actually, well, there you go. Thanks for the demonstration. It'll do something like that. It'll cook itself. That's been a bit of the problem with that. The other problem is that it doesn't always just auto connect, and so sometimes you have to use the cable, which I'm using here, and this particular phone is finicky with the type of cable. Oh, we got perfect connection to charge and to data stream, but we can't do the full stream for Android Auto, so whatever. I wanted to show you some of the other features here. Let me see if I can turn the car off. Open the door. Close the door. See if that fixes it. And I know that sometimes with Android Auto, you got to do that with any vehicle. I've had to do that once or twice with my Tucson when I had that. I actually just had to turn the car off, turn it back on again, get the touch screen restarted. Yeah, that'll come back up in a bit. And when it does, I'll show you guys the actual functions of it. I've had to see if I can do in the setup here. Since the screen is set up for a darker vision than Android Auto, it tends to be very dark, or very bright rather, and you couldn't see roads, you couldn't see roads or streets, things of that nature. So I'm forgetting where this video is here. So what I ended up finding out with that was that doing that sort of thing, I had to actually adjust how the vehicle looked, how the screen looked rather. And excuse me, once I got that adjusted, I had adjusted here and I had adjusted in the box. And once I actually got the box adjusted, it was relatively easy after that. But it, in general, if the AC is running, the box is usually happy. If the box gets too hot, it will shut off on you. It'll blank out. So I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I'm not sure if it's going to last the full 5 to 8 years or whatever I plan to keep this car. But if it doesn't, well, we'll probably show you a video of us yanking it out. The other issues that I have run into is with the map voice, and we're testing again to see if it come back. It did not come back. So the other issues I ran into is with the map voice on the box itself, because the map voice, it would actually start to, the music quality would be here. The music audio level would be basically here. Map voice would be here to start with, right? Well, as the trip goes on and the box starts getting hotter or whatever, the voice level will start to rise on the map, and the music audio will start to lower. So there's a point to where you have to have your audio maxed out just to hear the music. And any map direction that comes up comes blasting through the speakers. And so that'll really shock you sometimes. There's been a number of times where I've come close to jerking the wheel because of how loud it's come out of the speakers versus how low the music has been. So that's a problem with the box itself, because after all, after that happens, usually I turn the car off, wait 15-20 minutes, get back in the car, the box will start back up again, or the car will start back up again, the box is dead. So I have to Bluetooth the directions directly from the phone, which is working fine. And the Bluetooth to the car is working fine. So that's always a backup for me for driving. And that's in general what I was using this for, is driving. I am ancient. I still use CDs. So I'll use CDs and things when I'm driving around, more often than not. Especially today with the box just dead, I'd probably just pop a CD, and I got CDs in the car for that. But as you can see, the car itself, or the Android Auto itself, works well as any other car navigation app. It's a navigation app with a music player attached to it, so it works okay. The Android box, however, I give that about a, well, that'll be about a 3.5 out of 5. It works good-ish 80% of the time. Like I said before, 80% of the time works every time. But there's that 20% that you'll just end up Bluetoothing it anyway. So if you're using it around town, stuff like that, it's just fine. I wouldn't, although I do have to, but I wouldn't completely rely on it for long trips. Always have a backup plan in mind for long trips. When it dies on long trips, I've found that if I park the car, I get out, I stretch my legs, I eat something, I come back to my car 15, 20 minutes later, it works fine. So as long as you're stopping like every 90 minutes to 2 hours or so, you'll actually be just fine with something like that. The issue is not everybody wants to drive that way. I don't mind driving that way. I like seeing things. I don't have to beat the clock. I don't play beat the clock anymore. My back don't let me do that. So my physical condition forces me to stop every 90 minutes anyway. So it actually works out well for me with this Android box. But not everybody wants to do that. And if you're that type of person, you got to play beat the clock. You got to get there faster than what the GPS tells you you're going to get there. You might have issues with this Android box. So 3.5 out of 5. It's not the most dependable thing out there, but it hasn't completely died on me yet. Also, if you saw the community tab, I posted an image of where a bird crapped on my car in the garage. Thank you, Tweety. Not a sponsor. This stuff works pretty good. I use this stuff on occasion to get little things like that clean. I've never used it to clean 100% of the car. Hey, I might do that for a future video. But it works pretty good when a bird craps on something. You can get the bird crap off before it eats through the protective layers of the paint and stuff. Because if you don't know, bird crap is acidic and it'll eat through the wax and the protective layers of the paint and whatnot and cause future damage to your car. Anywho, that's it for me today. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you got any ideas for future Android boxes, I'd be more than happy to try them out. I've contemplated just getting a giant tablet to sit in the car, and that's actually where this Android box came from. Because I was going to buy one of those, and Kit's like, no, don't do that. And he showed me something that was half the price of the tablet, and that's actually the reason why I'm working with this here. So starting this up again, see if we got this. See, there it is. All right. And it's probably about to connect automatically. It's got the Bluetooth symbol there. Yep, there it goes. And that's 80% of the time what it does. It just connects automatically, loads right into it. And yeah, no YouTube, that was not music playing. But 80% of the time it just connects automatically, loads right into it, no issues whatsoever. Exit that. We'll go into setup. Show you my display settings. Yeah, you see how I've had to do this here. This is the display settings I've had to use to get this working properly. Brightness is way down there. Contrast is up. Chromacity is up. Saturation is about there. And that's in this actual set display itself, box itself. I couldn't find where I did it in the car. I'll probably find that later. But now we're doing the wire just because. And okay. There we go. There we are. And so there we are. But that's what it is. It works 80% of the time, works every time. Let it cool down, it'll operate better. 3.5 out of 5. Around town, it's just fine. Long cross-country trips, plan a lot of stops. So, thank you very much for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe.